what we're saying now.
Hey, that's Jonathan. Hi there.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
fantastic. Long time no see.
Yeah, how's everything going?
Good, good. Lots going on. How about you?
Good, pretty good. Um, Moving forward with all the projects I have here. And last week I was in San Francisco.
Oh, right, right.
Uh,
Just after
yeah,
the conference.
yes, and we are planning to have like an agile summit here in Argentina. So we are organizing that.
Nice. Yeah, we're having Agile Open shortly ourselves locally, so
Great.
that's next week. That should be fun. Cool. Well, thank you for joining.
No problem.
So thanks for coming. So we wanted to have a short session every 2 weeks, a live call, so any Founders Club member can join and ask questions or tell us their wish list, etc. But we figured we'd start off with a short sort of insight demo into what we're up to in one area. So today I figured we'd take it through tracks and journeys. There's some new stuff happening there that people may not have noticed. So let me start out with a bit of a screen share. I'm going to screen share on my tablet first and I'll grab my tablet and find the screen share control somewhere. There it is. All right. Great. So let's just, I don't know, and Jonathan, have you been in there lately? Have you been into the app lately?
Yeah, this weekend.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So with tracks and journeys, if you know what a track is, right? A track is essentially a gamified action plan with targets. And if you, on Explore, we've split them now into camp tracks and player tracks. So the idea would be, in camp tracks, you can find things to do that are sort of universal. Anyone can use these. They're meant to be used by any person.
Mm-hmm.
But on the player tracks, that's where we've really seen over the last few months that people want to do a couple of things. They want to take someone's track like this, forming a Scrum team, and then they want to adapt it. They don't want to do it exactly like this. They like the ideas, but it's not perfect for what they need, so they want to create a variation. Or they want to create something completely custom, just for themselves or just for a team. And if I scroll over here, we have one that we did. This was a retrospective action track that was pretty much only applicable to our own team. It was stuff we wanted to do in our team to improve what was going on. So the player tracks and camp tracks, splitting them out like that, when we get a lot of personal tracks in, that's going to create noise. How do we handle that? So that this is the first step. Camp tracks should be where you find stuff you might be able to use as is. Player tracks is where you can go and explore and see what other people are doing. And the next step is, of course, creating your own. And that is in the works. That is, we're creating an interface where you can create practices and tracks of your own, right? So let me show you that. And that will be on the computer. So right now, our Dayan and Matt and our web team, we're going to do this on the web, are working on the interface and tying everything together so that you can click a button. I think, Dadek, the first step would be we give you the link to go to the web space to create stuff. Second phase would be there's going to be a button and we'll add it to the app so you can launch it from the app. Is that correct?
I think we'll start with much simpler version, at least for us. First, you will log in on the web and then you will be able to create a track.
Yeah.
But then we'll kind of integrate the app and the web with a kind of link authentication.
Yep. So we'll probably make a story about it and tell people, if you want to create something, then go for it. And the first version will be, you can either create practices, or you can look up what's already there and create your own track. So hopefully those components start us down the path where Agile coaches can create a track for their teams. You collaborate with your teams. You want to support them in achieving a goal, perhaps. Or maybe I'm looking forward to the day when coaches and teams can have a session and create a track right then. Like they have a session, they have a goal, and creating a track. And gamified action plan is what it sort of is. They could create that and then get that out to everybody. Makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Great. And then the third component, is teams. So we're building out the team functionality where you can identify, and it's in here. I'll just show this quickly, give you guys a preview of this too. Although we'll go into it, we'll have another live call maybe in a month where we really get into it once it's in people's hands. But creating a team is happening. That's being built right now so that you can see activity just of your team, right? If you're following a track, you can go in there and see what everyone's doing, the progress they're making. That makes sense? Great.
Yep.
And Harold, Dada, anything you want to add just in terms of tracks and journeys in general?
I think in terms of teams, that we're pretty close to release that, much closer than the player tracks and player practices.
Creation. Mm-hmm.
We will be able to try it out pretty soon.
Yeah, so, and then teams, that's going to be really looking forward to that, because as a coach, if you can see your team, you could give them a collection, you can, share stuff in the app and start to see what they're doing with it, if they're tracking their activity around it. So that'll certainly expand things quite a bit. We're still going to be Android only. We have enough, we can probably pull enough people together to really validate it and get to the point where we're ready to build iOS.
Yeah, so especially with teams, I think, we're at the point of in the background, we've built very basic functionality like who's in a team, which is a necessity, but which doesn't represent a function yet. And I think our next decision will be, okay, so which functionality do we implement first? So, I don't know how abstract this is for you, Jonathan, but what I'd be interested in is, when you hear that we're building this team function, does anything come to mind, like immediately, what you would like to be able to do in a team?
Yeah, I was thinking when a new Scrum Master is starting in the role, and we can create like a journey and different tracks in order to define similar to what you had in new Scrum team, like all the new tasks and all the different levels we want to reach, like in his role or her role as a Scrum Master. For instance, something I used to do with them when I start the coaching session is the different states of the team, and depend of in which state they are, with the situational leader, is how they have to act with the team. For instance, if they had to, I used the delegation poker technique with that. Like, hey, they start like a mandate order, so say, hey, this is the practice we are going to use when the team is, in a low level of agile. And then if they are growing, they have to start selling and collaborating with the team and start delegating things. Instead of delegate, some ceremonies, I'd recommend to use the delegation poker to say, hey, how do you feel to take ownership of the planning or the daily stand-up? So that is a process that takes like 6 months or on a year.
Yeah.
It's a huge journey. like
To move a team through those stages. Yeah.
yeah. So I was thinking on that, where you were showing me the future.
Oh, that's great. So
Okay,
yeah.
so initially it would be, I mean, if I can just try and capture what you said in my own words. So initially, if you're starting with a new team, and if that is the scenario, it's more like important for the coach to be able to share to the team recommended things,
Yes.
right? So this function would initially be important, and then to see how they're getting along or what they're doing. And then maybe later on, it would be more like a team discussion, and then the team decides what they want to take on. But so the first function would be somebody can share with a team a suggestion. Did I get you right there?
Yeah, but I feel the interaction will be just with the Scrum Master and not with the whole team. With the application.
Okay.
It's really hard to get the whole team using the app.
Right.
That's what I realized so far. Like, I have a team of 6 to 10 Scrum Master here, and only 2 or 3 are using the app, and just for consulting some practices. So
Right.
This kind of hard. We discussed this 2 weeks ago. Like, what are our intentions of use the MindSettler app, and
Finding
they
ideas is
yeah
pretty much it.
they basically said that they want to find practices, and I proposed, hey, we can start using journeys. I was reading the news, the updates, so we are going to discuss this Friday as well. I want at least one of the Scrum Master to work with me in one journey. But so far, it's something I couldn't make it happen so far.
I wanted to show you this too, Jonathan. So in this track, this is Scrum Master Ramp Up. Thomas made this. Is here's his steps on things to do to get a new Scrum Master up and running. But what we can do is come in and see. We can see exactly how far along people are, and if I want to go see what Ronald has done. I clicked on the wrong thing. Let me click on his track. I should be able to see his progress. I can see what he's tracked, right? We can get in and see exactly what they've done. And then we can see if you say you created a track for a specific team or a specific project, things you wanted to get done, maybe the Scrum Master is the only one capturing what's happening with the team. But you get this you can get a record here of exactly what's going on. So I like the idea of using some of the tracks that are in there as base material and then customizing it, right? When we did our team retro track, those of us who were in that meeting and agreed what the track would be, we were much more motivated to actually do it than people who weren't in that meeting. You definitely see that. So. Yeah. Okay.
I think that I will definitely try this journey. I just started the journey in the app.
Yes, I did see you in there. Great.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it with a new Scrum Master I have here.
The most popular ones right now, other than that welcome track, which is more of an intro thing, we have the Becoming Agile track, which is really just doing a retrospective on your week, on your own work, right? Planning and then doing a retro. And you can see there's 26 people have completed that. That's seems to be quite good. And the other one that has the most marks, if I can come on screen. Oh, maybe it's, where's Work Life Optimizer? I'm missing it. There it is. It's under Jürgen's name in the player column. But this one has 100 marks to achieve it, so only 3 people have completed it. But there's almost 600 marks, and it's sort of a checklist for.
But you have something to find out there, like you send a survey, like why only 3 are completed that journey.
Well, it's 100 actions you have to log. One reason why no one's completed is because it's insanely large.
Yeah.
Jürgen thinks you should do 5 activities every day for 4 weeks.
And
So
is there a pattern?
his amount.
Is there a pattern where in which step on which track is like people is stuck?
Yes. So I see what you mean. There's 5
Just
practices
curious.
to mark. And what's the ratio? Which ones do people do and which ones don't they do? That's a great question. I don't have that. We don't have that data. It's all mixed together when you look at activity. But I find it quite interesting because this one, there's 5 things that you are going to do repeatedly. I don't do all 5 every day. I don't mark 5 every day. But somehow that works. It's interesting to see. Those are both sort of personal development tracks, right? Where you're tracking your own work. I think they're easier than say ramp up a Scrum Master.
Is there any way to get some notifications like, hey, you didn't track anything this week? What happened? Like maybe the app can send a.
I see Dadak smiling because it's on our roadmap, and it's we're working to get notifications. It's a huge one. We want to do it right so people don't get annoyed with them, right? So that they can really customize them. So
there you have
but we definitely need that. Yeah, and we have had a lot of people say, "Hey, just remind me. I did it for 3 days, and then I got busy and forgot." So I do. They do. It has been requested, so that's good. So team tracks. Personal development tracks. I wanted to show you this one too. We have IC Agile collaborating with us. They've put in a track which is more around certification. They have a track here aligned with their expert in Agile coaching certification. And if someone is going for that certification, they've created 5 steps aligned with the competency areas that you need to demonstrate. And you can track the activities you're doing to build that competency, and then end up with a record that can be useful when you go for your assessment. So I thought that one's quite interesting. We've had not many people are doing it, but we have 17 people who said that's interesting. That looks interesting. I would do that. So
I think the concept I think is also could be applicable for new hire programs or something like that, where you say, okay, this track, it's not mandating specific actions necessarily, but it's just saying, do something in this area. So maybe, you could say, okay, we want you to just get to know, I don't know, the department or whatever. And so it doesn't say go to room A or B, but it says, please visit 5 rooms in the next, 4 weeks. It could serve as a blueprint of an idea for a track. So you can have them at different levels of, let's say, abstraction. One could be very concrete. The other could be just do something of this kind. So to me, that's at least a very new way of describing a journey in this kind of a track. So I quite like it as a concept.
Yeah.
And I had a question. What is the process today to enter a new practice or new article, new content?
Right. Today we have a form, just a simple doc form to enter one, and that screen share I did earlier is the web interface that we're building. So you would just log in and create it, and there's just a few fields, now. It's way easier than we had before when we were doing step-by-step guides and things like that. So it's still manual right now, but we're building out the login.
I'm asking this because in this summit we are going to do next month, we are going to have multiple tracks, like content tracks, like on trainings. So I was thinking if I can use the app to create a journey and maybe get some people to test it. we already have all the material, and it's going to be like for training, internal training. But it's really complicated to enter. That could be an audience, but it's just a form. I can try that too.
Well, we have a lot of practices now where you click a link and you go to the source.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be a way to
I
do it
saw
as
that.
well.
Yeah.
You just do a paragraph or enough of an explanation and have them click to the source. Then the idea is just to get enough in there that you can track the activity so you get your rewards and we start to capture what people are doing with it. But yeah, happy to look at that.
Yeah, I'm gonna think on that, and I see I can use this because maybe it could be something interesting for you. Like, for instance, in a conference, people can use the app. Like, we have different tracks and checks, and they can see which talks they attend during the conference, and the organizer can see like what are the talks that had more succeed on attendees and all this stuff. What about that?
Yeah, we created a track for Agile 2018 where we try to get people engaged in it as an experiment. I think the area that's really interesting is training and workshops. So if you do a training, we thought about pre-training, preparation tracks. So here's some stuff you can do. Let's make it fun and give you a reward for doing it in preparation for your training. Or even post-training. Now you've learned all this stuff. What are you going to do with it? Here's some small steps and mark down when you've done it. So many people do their trainings and then never change anything, right? Jürgen is, his plan for Management 3.0 is to use tracks in the workshops themselves. He's going to have tracks that they use during the workshop, actually in the training, which is interesting. I hadn't thought of that. So that is something I think that could be extremely powerful to gamify it a bit, and gamifying, just making it fun, but supporting people as they do things. But the biggest thing is capturing results, capturing what is it that they do, what have they done, what do they have to say about it, right? That's the part that is quite difficult to see. So.
Where is the actual state of the app in the Play Store? Are you able to download it, or you have to be in a white list?
It's public.
It's public?
The Mindsettlers app is public.
And it's free?
It is free for 30 days. We still have it in the store. We're still measuring how many people are willing to pay after 30 days. Yeah. So we have some beta testers and power users, we still are able to give it to you for free, but we do that manually. Play Store will ask for payment after 30 days.
And I feel the trial period is gonna work. If I want all the people here with Android devices to try that during the summit.
Okay, good. You just make sure you tell them what to expect, because it's a lot. They're like, oh my God, that's 19 euros
it's a lot of data.
It's a lot of people are not used to subscriptions in Google Play.
Now I would talk to my peers, the other Agile coaches, and see what they think about the idea. Maybe I can send you an email after that.
Cool.
Awesome. But good job. You have had a lot of progress in the last month.
Yeah.
Or like that.
Is that what it looks like to you? That's good. It's hard for us to know, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
I don't know. What have we done since last January? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing that you are pivoting, and that's really cool. Adapting to the community and the people. Yeah.
Last 2 weeks ago, we talked through the new onboarding that's coming out, because usage, making it easier to use is a huge goal, isn't it, guys? Yeah. So we're going to, find ideas, mark, track something, start a journey, work with a team. 4 main steps. We figure it makes sense. But finding ideas is definitely the foundation. So that's interesting to hear that your other guys, that's what they're using it for.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I think what I find exciting about this, what's coming up right next, is that we're leveraging what we have done with the tagging of content. This is all happened in the background. Some people might not even have recognized it so much, but we have every piece of content that's in Mindsetless is tagged, and every mark that you generate, if you want to, you can tag. And this means that that we can organize content by tags. So if you tell us what you're interested in, we have a good chance by using tags to give you content that fits your interest. Mm-hmm. Or if we have a little bit of history about you, which initially when you start we don't have, but let's say with you, if we have a little bit of history, we can recommend things based on your history. Now, yes. Of course, if you're looking for brand new stuff and you want to move into a new field, that's not useful, and you want to maybe say, I'm interested in this specifically, but this is now, this will be available for people who log in for the first time. They can tell us what they're interested in. So I think the learning curve, or let's say the speed with which you can find things that are of interest to you, will increase quite a bit and make it a lot easier for new people. This could be interesting for you if you indeed use the app on the conference. It's like right off the bat, hopefully you will see things that are relevant for you because you've told the app, this is interesting for me.
That's part of the onboarding.
So that's woven into the onboarding. So I think this will be good. I mean, for people like you who already know it, even so, I mean, the onboarding itself might not do so much, but the ability to select tags and then get recommendations for what you're interested in, I think this will be interested even for...
But I believe it's really useful even for me because you have changed several features that I don't use very well. And also if I have to explain 100 people I have here in the office, for instance, if I create a journey for the summit we're going to have, if I have to share that in an email, an onboarding tool is going to be really useful.
Good. Well, listen, I know we're right at the half hour.
Yeah.
So any last comments?
No, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good. Sorry, I missed a lot of meetings. I always want to join, and now
don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I want to see it and I want to use it. So I will try to create a journey for the next month and start using it.
And then give us your wish list. Tell us what
Sure.
What else you need.
I'm looking forward to see new features and notifications. That will be really cool.
Notifications, yeah. Darek, any last comments?
Yeah, I think we will be focusing on discovering content. We're just starting on that, so it will be probably good for your Scrum Masters because now the amount of content on the platform is quite kind of overwhelming because we have more than 500 practices, but we will prepare a new Explorer for new people to explore the content in a better way. So we're starting with that. It also would be useful.
Definitely. We'll have that on another live call in the next one or the one after. Go through that too.
This is a teaser.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Happy adventuring, and catch you soon.
Bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.